Hello my dear students. So today in this class we will discuss about the wildlife sanctuaries and national parks of Assam. So here you see the role of wildlife sanctuaries and national parks is far reaching in the context of nature conservation, and these are protected from the destructive impact of human beings. So what is the role of wildlife sanctuary or national park? So these areas are quite some kind of the protected areas from the destructive impact of human beings. Is it clear? So I think all of you know about the national parks and the national sanctuaries. So next you see in Assam there are 5 national parks and 18 wildlife sanctuaries covering a total area of 3592.94 square kilometer. Is it clear all of you? Next, along with these there are 2 other proposed wildlife sanctuaries also. So these are some proposed wildlife sanctuaries. Now recently we came to know that there has been some kind of discussion also to increase the number of the national parks, and let us see. So we will get in due course of time all that updates, but now till date there are 5 national parks and 18 wildlife sanctuaries in Assam. So these are some kind of the protected areas, and these are some of the home of wild elephants, tigers, rhinoceros, buffaloes, variety of deer, monkeys, wild animals, etc. So with the presence of grasslands, trees and wetlands, these protected areas attract a large number of domestic and foreign tourists. I think all you have heard about this ecotourism, isn't it? So this is now a very famous, this practice, or we can say some of the famous method of the tourism, that is ecotourism. That means the people used to visit these naturally protected areas, and they used to campaign in that particular areas, and they used to want to discover all the flora and faunas of that particular areas. So next you see the future of biodiversity of our state lies to a great extent on the ability to protect these areas. And here is some of the very important list, or we can say chart, of the national parks and wildlife sanctuaries of Assam. So what is the need of these naturally protected areas? Only to preserve, or only to protect the biodiversity of the state. Only to protect the biodiversity of the state, there are some kind of initiatives to protect these kind of natural areas. So here are some of the list are there here. So this may come in your exam as multiple choice question type. So let us see the national parks. That is the national park, that is Kaziranga, which is world famous. It is not only state famous or national famous, but it is world famous because of its one horned rhinoceros. So location Golaghat, Nagaon and Sonitpur. Is it clear all of you? Area is 858.98 in square kilometer. Next, Manas National Park, Chiran and Baksa district. Area in square kilometer is 500. Urang National Park, Udalguri and Sonitpur. Area is 78.81. Next, Nameri National Park, location is Sonitpur. Next, area in square kilometer is 200. Next, Dibru Soikwa National Park. So location is Dibrugarh and Tinsukia, and area is 340 square kilometer. Next you see the wildlife sanctuaries. That is number 1, that is Bhejan, Borazan, Podomoni Wildlife Sanctuary. Location is Tinsukia. Area is 7.22 square kilometer. Next, Panidehing Wildlife Sanctuary, and this is Panidehing Wildlife Sanctuary is famous for migratory birds, and this is the only one wildlife sanctuary which is known as to be the bird sanctuary. Okay, this Panidehing, its location is in Sibsagar, and only one sanctuary which is quite famous for the migratory birds, and here we can find only migratory birds. Is it clear? So next area is 33.93. Next, Nambor Doigurung Wildlife Sanctuary. This location is Golaghat, and area is 97.15 area kilometer in square. Next, Gibbon Wildlife Sanctuary, location is Jorhat, area is 20.98. Next is Garampani Wildlife Sanctuary, next location is Karbi Anglong, area is 6.05 square kilometer. Next, Number Wildlife Sanctuary, location is Karbi Anglong, next area is 37 square kilometer. Next, East Karbi Anglong Wildlife Sanctuary, location is Karbi Anglong, area is 221.81 square kilometer. Next, you see Marat Longri Wildlife Sanctuary, and its location is Karbi Anglong, and its area is 451 square kilometer. Next, you see that is Burha Sapori Wildlife Sanctuary, the location is Sonitpur, and the area is 44.06 square kilometer. Next, Laukhwa Wildlife Sanctuary, location is Nagaon, area is 70.13 square kilometer. Next, Pobitora Wildlife Sanctuary, location is Morigaon, area is 38.80 square kilometer. Next, Sonai Rupai Wildlife Sanctuary, and location is Sonitpur, area is 220 square kilometer. Next, Bornaudi Wildlife Sanctuary, location is Udalguri, next area is 26.22 square kilometer. Next, Chakrashila Wildlife Sanctuary, location is Kokrajhar, and the area is 45.56 square kilometer. Next, you see Dihing Patkai Wildlife Sanctuary, location is Dibrugarh and Tinsukia, and the area is 111.19 square kilometer. Next, Barail Wildlife Sanctuary, location is Kachar, and the area is 326.25 square kilometer. Next, Namchang Wildlife Sanctuary, location is Kamrup Metro, and the area is 78.64 square kilometer. And Diporbil, that is Wildlife Sanctuary, next location is Kamrup Metro, and the area is 4.10 Wildlife Sanctuary. Next, the proposed wildlife sanctuaries are: number 1, the North Karbi Anglong Wildlife Sanctuary, the location is Karbi Anglong, and the area is 96 square kilometer. And next, Bordoibam Bilmuk Wildlife Sanctuary, location is Lakhimpur, and the area is 11.25 square kilometer. So these two are the proposed wildlife sanctuaries. To say the administrative divisions of Assam. So here you see, geographically the spatial extent of Assam has witnessed marked change with time. Assam was quite large during the British rule, and during that period, besides Meghalaya, Nagaland, Sylhet, that is now in Bangladesh, that was a part of Assam. So initially, during the British ruling period, there Assam was very large. It has very large extension of land, because due to the combination of Meghalaya and Nagaland and Sylhet also. Now it's the Sylhet that is now in Bangladesh. But in 1947, following India's partition, the Sylhet part was separated from Assam and joined East Pakistan, so which is presently known as Bangladesh. So accordingly, there were 11 districts in Assam, and Shillong was its capital. In the latter period, 3 states, namely Nagaland in 1963, Meghalaya in 1970, Mizoram in 1971, got separated from Assam, and the capital of city of Assam was established in Dispur, Guwahati in 1973. So since 1971 till up to 2014, the area of Assam, including its geographical boundary and spatial extent, has remained the same. Now at present, the state of Assam has a land area of 78,438 square kilometer and population of 31.16 million. So it is according to 2011 census. Here are some of the name of the district headquarters, land area, and the population. So you may check these things, because it may come in your MCQ questions also. The largest district in terms of land area, the smallest district in terms of land area, Again, the main districts of Upper Assam, the main districts of Lower Assam, all you can check, and this may come as your MCQ question. That means name, suppose, the largest district of Assam in terms of land area, name the smallest district of Assam in terms of land area. Is it clear? Again, in terms of population size also. So all you just check this chart, because this may come in your exam. So next you say, so in view of certain administrative advantages and constraints and the fulfilling the hopes and aspirations of different ethnic groups inhabiting the state, some new districts have been constituted within the same spatial limit of the district. So what now what do you understand by this paragraph? So it is you see, due with the this in due of mind, that is and some kind of hopes and aspirations of different ethnic groups inhabiting in the state, so some kind of separate districts have been constituted. Okay, so such as we can say BTAD, Bodoland, we can say, suppose now this Karbi Anglong district, we can say some kind of that Dima Hasao district, isn't it? So these are some kind of districts where some kind of particular ethnic group of communities they reside there. Is it clear? And only to preserve, to conserve that their hopes and aspirations of that particular ethnic groups, separate districts have been formed. So here we can say now, so the Kokrajhar, Sirang, Baksa, Udalguri fall under the BTAD or Bodoland Territorial Area district. So these are some kind of that autonomous, we can say, that councils, and these are some kind of that Bodo inhabiting districts. Again, in order to fulfill the hopes and aspirations of especially Bodo tribal groups, this BTAD area was formed in 2003. So remind when this BTAD was formed, it was formed in 2003. So in respect of land area, Karbi Anglong district is the largest district, and Kamrup Metropolitan district is the smallest district. So remind is, in terms of land area, Karbi Anglong is the largest district and Kamrup Metropolitan is the smallest district. And in terms of population or size of the population, Nagaon district is the most populous and Dima Hasao district is the least populous. So remind it, that is the in terms of the size of the population, Nagaon district is the most populous and large district, we can say, and Dima Hasao is the least populous or small district, we can say. So this much is quite enough for this class, and here we have already completed now our entire syllabus, as this Assam chapter is has been quite completed. And in our next session, in our next class, I shall give you some of the very important question answers from this chapter, and later on we will do revision of our entire chapters of this social science geography part. So this much is quite enough for this session. And all the students, you do one thing, whatever the questions that are in your exercise part, you just all of you try to write down the answers and just send it to me in the PDF format in our WhatsApp group. Is it clear, all of you? And later on I shall give you, in our next class I shall give you some of the very important questions also from this chapter, and we shall do some kind of revisions as well. Is it clear, of you? So thank you so much for this session and have a nice day. Thank you.